Hey, what's up everyone? Finally getting the YouTube video underway, the YouTube channel. I decided to start off my YouTube channel with a Q&A because I thought it'd be an awesome way to kind of kick it off and get to know me before you watch any of my other videos. So, without further ado, I'm going to open up these questions here. What dose of tea are you on? So I started out testosterone. They kind of obviously ease you into it. So I started out on half a cc for my first month, and then then they upped me to 1 because my body was taking it fine. So I was on 1 cc for a very long time, and then my red blood cell count got like kind of high, so they wanted to make sure it was also paired with my vitamins we found. So I just changed my vitamins because I was taking iron, but I was getting enough iron from my food and diet. So anyway, it was a big thing. So I changed that stuff, and they lowered it to 8 cc, 0.8, not 8, 0.8 cc, and my red blood count was still a little high, so they lowered it to 0.7, and now my levels are perfect, and they have been for a couple months now. So I take 0.7 cc every 2 weeks. This is such a generic question, but what's it like being on tea? It's not a generic question. A lot of people like to know this stuff. Being on tea is like the best, I have to tell you. I remember taking my first shot of testosterone. I was so excited for all the changes that were going to come. It was super exciting because I knew that I was finally my appearance was going to change into what I've always pictured myself in. Like, what I always pictured myself looking like. And it definitely did. It was funny because ever since I was little, I always pictured myself looking like this. Had facial hair, was like bigger, but that comes with like working out, not just testosterone. That takes some work. But it's the best feeling. I remember the changes first started when like your voice starts to drop and your facial hair starts growing in, and you get a little hairier than you were before, just in general. I mean, like, and your period stops. That was like blessed. So there was that, and just being able to gain muscle mass easier, fat distribution changes, and it was just it's honestly the best. I remember like just talking about it with my mom and like how badly I wanted it, and once I got it and all the changes happened and like to where I am now like over 5 years on T, it was the best decision I ever made, honestly. One of the best, at least. I mean, I remember the first time I went back to the gym after taking testosterone. Well, not the first time, but like a couple times into taking testosterone, and like my heavier weights that I was lifting before T, I was like, oh god. And then I took T, and it was like so light, and it was just because like it's not, people get mistaken like it's a steroid or something, but really it's just, it bumps your T level up to that of someone who was born a cisgender man, like someone who was born physically male, and that's all it does. Is it bumps your T level up to that level, and your level gets checked by your doctor, so it doesn't go above or below like anything crazy. So you're not like on roids, but it was just like my body finally like taking it in and really like starting to use it and work with it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. But yeah, it's if you're thinking about it, I don't know if you are, don't know how you identify it or anything like that, but it's a good thing to think about if you are. I am so blessed that I am taking it. I love it. When you first started going to the gym, did it make you feel dysphoric sometimes? If so, how did you work through that to make the amazing progress you have made? First of all, thank you for complimenting the progress. Bust my ass in there, but I love it. So, but as far as the dysphoric thing goes, I never really felt dysphoric per se. I was more just frustrated at the fact that like I wasn't getting as big as the other guys when I was putting in just as much work, if not more work. I was like, what? Like, it wasn't like about anatomy or anything. It was more like just my arms. I was like, why am I not getting swole like that? Like it upset me, and in that way. So I don't know if I would necessarily say dysphoric, but I was just angered that I wasn't making the same progress. And so the way I got over that type of thing, though, was, and I still do it to this day, is I stay focused on me and my workout. A lot of the time people will look at other people in the gym and be like, oh, like, they're bigger than me, like, I wonder what they're doing, like, I wonder this, and, like, I wish I looked like them, and stuff like that. And I get it in terms of, like, saying, oh, I wonder what workouts they're doing to get their, say, delts like that or something, because I think that still now. I'm like, oh, I wonder how they're shaping like that. So that's the only thing I do. But in terms of, like, being like, oh, I wish I looked like them, I wish, like, blah blah, I say focus on your own workout. That's how I get through it. Focus on, like, how you were weeks ago compared to now. Your own progress. You're battling yourself. You're going in there and being better than you were yesterday or last week or last month, and not better than the person standing next to you. You know what I mean? So, and if you continue doing that and building yourself up, you're going to be one of those people that someone looks at, especially someone who's just starting out, and they're going to be like, wow, they've made, like, amazing progress. I wish I looked like that. So if you kind of just stay in your own mind, stay focused on your own workout, and just be like, I'm going to beat myself. I'm going to be better than I was yesterday or the day before that. I think that's how you can really get through it, because that's what I've done. I think it'll work for somebody else. I hope it does. But yeah, that's what I do. How can your girlfriend help you if you feel dysphoric? That's actually a really excellent question. Wow. Okay. So, I think the best thing that you could do in that case, if you're the girlfriend, is ask. Ask the person you're dating what you can do for them. And the reason I say that is, yes, I'm trans. Yes, a lot of people who are trans experience dysphoria, but not everyone is comforted or helped in the same way. So everyone has a different experience, everyone's a different person and needs different things when it comes to stuff like that. So my answer might be different than another person's answer, and is most likely different than another person's answer. So the best bet would be to ask them straight up what you can do for them. And I think that they honestly will appreciate that, I think, because they know that you really care, number one, enough to help them, and two, you want to know exactly what you can do to help them instead of just trying or assuming something and then it maybe makes it worse. So, best thing to do is ask. I would say if you need help from your boyfriend or girlfriend, another thing, again, it sounds so like a cop-out answer and so, like, easy and so, like, such a common sense thing, but ask. And, like, and tell them, like, can you help me? I need you to do this. Would you be willing to do that? Because I feel like a lot of the time, most of it comes down to communication. And that's the biggest thing. When I was in relationships, I would always, like, say if I was having a bad day, if I, like, really, because, like I said, I stay really positive, but there are those days that are kind of rough. And I would let them know that, and they could sense it. And I wasn't gonna let them ask, like, are you okay? And then me be like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Obviously I'm not fine. They can feel I'm not fine. So what do? I talk to them about it, and they want to know how to help, and so I tell them. So the best thing would be to communicate that. If you need help, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. That's the thing. Is I know it's funny. I know a lot of people in the trans community use the hashtag self-made, which is true, which I think is really, like, an awesome and, like, empowering, like, hashtag, like, self-made. But it's like, I tend not to use that hashtag just because, I got here with the support and the love from my family and friends, and from my doctor who gave me testosterone, my therapist who wrote me my letter to get testosterone, my other therapist who wrote my letter for me to get top surgery, my surgeon who gave me top surgery. Like, all these people helped me get to where I am. So I was born who I was, and I had a large part in making myself and building myself up to who I am, but I definitely had help getting there. And your boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other, whatever you like to call them, can be that person for you. So don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it, because most likely, more likely than not, they're really looking to help you and are nervous to maybe ask. So just communicate with one another. Sexual orientation / feelings on the labels of sexuality and gender. So I'm straight. I identify as a man. I'm attracted to women. Um, so I just like girls. Um, then in terms of labels, I say if you feel like a label suits you and you want to use it, go ahead. For instance, I identify as a guy. I identify as straight. Those are all like labels. But if you don't feel like using a label, I don't see a reason to. Like, I don't think you have to. Especially if like you're kind of in between and you're not sure if it suits you or not, and it's honestly it's no one else's business. I say live your life. Who cares? Um, so yeah, I think labels are. I don't think they're needed, but if you want to use them, and they feel like they suit you, and it's a part of like how you identify, then go for it. But I really don't think they're necessary. Do you have social anxiety? Are you an intro or extrovert? Good question. I don't have social anxiety. I actually enjoy being around people. But I do also like my alone time. So I would say like I'm a mix of both. The only time I like kind of have a bit of social anxiety is if I'm like out at the bar up at school and just like hanging out with my friends, but it gets like very very crowded. I don't like being like having to be pinned up against the wall and I can't even spin and do a 360. That that stresses me out, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of here, done for the night. Um, Other than that, I'm pretty good. But I like my alone time. I like my time with friends and family and being out among other people. Like sometimes I really just like going to the mall just to be out around other people and stuff like that. But then there's times where I'm like at the gym or just sitting in my room and I just want to like chill and like not be bothered. So yeah, I would say I'm a mix. Depends on the mood. How has your family reacted / supported throughout your journey? I can't talk about them enough. That's all I have to say. Number one. Um, well, I do trans talks, is what I call them, up at my college for different classes like human sexuality. Um, I've done one in HIV epidemic. I've done one in I've done an RA training, a resident assistant like training, and stuff like that. And I've also done a bunch of like just LGBT panels up there, and every single time I talk about my family because they are so important in this whole thing because they are my number one support system. They never once made me feel like who I was wrong or disgusting, or made me feel like they were gonna kick me out or hated me. Period. Um, so it's like emotional talking about them because without them I wouldn't be able to get where I am today. I mean, like they like want to come to all my doctor's appointments. Like when I started T, when I was getting top surgery, they like wanted to be there. They wanted to see it because they knew that they knew just like I did that I was a boy from when I was young. And so for them to finally see me going through this process to be the man I am today, to grow into the man I am today, they wanted that for me, and they wanted to be there and support me and love me just like anybody else. So they've been super supportive, always. Like I said, I always tell people, I'm like, it's very rare that someone in my situation has a support system and a family like me. I was like, in general, I've hit the jackpot in terms of like a supporting, loving family, but especially being someone who identifies as trans, it's unreal. I make sure I tell every talk I do that too. Like I tell them, I'm like, this is very rare for my situation. Usually kids get kicked out. Usually they're like on their own. I was like, or they at least lose some people. And like for me, I'm very lucky that everyone, well, if not, like, pretty sure everyone pretty much stuck around. And from when I told my mom when I was 3 that I was a boy, and like asked when my penis was gonna grow, they have been there the whole time. So I'm very lucky that my family has been super supportive my entire life. Thank you everyone so much for sending in your questions. I'm so happy that I decided to start a YouTube channel and kind of connect with you all. That's really why I wanted to start with a Q&A, to just get to know me. I'm really excited about doing this. I think it's really fun, and I can't wait to do another one for you. Alright? I will see you on, I don't know. I'm going to say on the other side, because who knows if it's going to be next week. I don't. Anyway, see ya.